everybody. I'm Denise Reed, your host, and I'm here for Just a Point of View, just saying, where I explore what it really means to live boldly, think deeply, and chase happiness fiercely. And today's episode is one that I've been thinking about for a while, actually several years. And I bet it's been quietly tugging at you too at some point or another. It's about how ideas can take root and actually grow what inspires you. I hope that it's both grounding and energizing to you to share in this episode of Just a Point of View. So let's start here. We give too much credit to aha moments and not enough to quiet cultivation of the opportunity to create an aha moment. Ideas are not lightning bolts. They're like seeds. You have to take them out of the packet and you have to make sure that you follow the watering instructions and you have the right sunshine exposure and that you put them in the right place. Some blow in the wind like dandelion seeds, and others come from the pain and suffering that you've experienced because you're being contorted in all kinds of ways. And some ideas are just gifted to you when you least expect it. But none of them grow without your care or attention. Rick Rubin, the legendary music producer, once said, "You don't make the idea, you actually receive it." And that really blew me away, because how often do we try to force inspiration when really we just need to listen better to all the peripheral opportunities that are around us? Your mind and your spirit have to be a prepared soil. That means clearing space and letting go of overcommitment, making room for stillness or even boredom so something can take root, so your ideas have a place to land. That's real creativity. It's not about the hustle. It's about the readiness. It's about creating that space where that idea has room to move in. So ask yourself, have I made space in my life for new ideas to land? Take out your notebook, grab your favorite app for note taking, and come along on this adventure with me. So let's talk about sunlight in relation to creating and planting your idea, because without it, even the most brilliant idea won't grow. And sunlight, like in your life, is your joy or your why. In fact, Simon Sinek says people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I believe the same is true in your own ideas. If you won't nurture what you won't nurture what you don't care about, and you won't fight for an idea that doesn't light you up. If you've just been sitting on something like a new offer, a business book, a shift in your career, ask yourself, does this idea reflect what matters to me most? Just think about that. Does this idea reflect on what matters to me most? Will it bring me more joy, or will it bring joy even to someone else? Think about that. And how could it bring joy to them? Is this idea coming from fear, or is it coming from purpose? If you're chasing happiness fiercely, the right ideas will come faster, because your joy creates the kind of energy that pulls them in. It's like the lighthouse on the shore to keep you from having your boat wrecked, or the light in the darkness. You notice how all the bugs are drawn to it? Sometimes ideas are like that. And when your ideas align with your values, they just glow. They attract all the bugs in the darn yard. Just saying. Here's an idea from David Engelman. He's a neuroscientist, and he says creativity doesn't come out of the blue. It comes out of our brains, modifying the old to make it new. And that's good news, right? It means you're not starting from scratch. You're building from everything you've ever seen, heard, felt, or loved. So think about that. You're building from everything you've ever seen, heard, felt, or loved. That was worth repeating. Your life is a compost of creativity. So stop saying you're not creative. You're just not paying attention to how you already create who you are. Think about the last things that fascinated you. A conversation, a movie quote, a question a client asked. Now, what happens if you blend all those ideas? Sometimes the most powerful ideas are just old ingredients in a new recipe. So let's get practical for a minute. How do you actually grow an idea from seed to sprout? So here's my personal process, and feel free to borrow what works for you. So capture the seed first. Don't trust your brain to remember. Use voice memo or a notes app like Evernote. Maybe even napkins. Scratch it down and fold it up and put it in your pocket. Whatever you've got, create a place to capture those little glimmers of a spark that can give you a full-on fanned flame. Let the idea rest. Not every idea needs action today. Some need to marinate, and you need to sit with it. Trust the timing. Gather some more information about it. Feed it intentionally, your idea. Expose yourself to things that stretch the idea, maybe new books, maybe bat around the idea with a friend or ask some questions about the idea. This is where the remix and reimagination happens. So trust the soil that you've brought to cultivate your idea. If your idea drains you, it's not ready, or it's not yours to grow. You know when it's right, because even hard work will feel aligned. Prune with kindness. Not every idea grows into a tree, and some are meant to be stepping stones or a bridge even. So let go when needed, but do it with love. So remember, you don't owe every idea a harvest, but you do owe yourself joy of planting, the exercise of creating an idea. So what are you growing right now? It might be worth exploring. It might be worth some note-taking. It might be that ball that you want to play with and roll it around and bounce it a little bit on the floor, or maybe pass it off to a friend. Sometimes ideas are like that. You just have to roll around with them in the floor and go, "Give me a better one." So what idea keeps nudging you? What keeps showing up in your thoughts, your dreams, your conversations, maybe your clients' conversations, maybe some inspirational moments that you've had, you didn't write down the thought? That might just be your next big thing. It might be that stepping stone to a great idea. And I hope this episode gave you space to breathe. Sometimes it's in the quiet and the reflection and recommitment to your own creative garden, because I know there's something incredible in all of us as we're chasing happiness fiercely, just waiting for a little light. So I hope that I've encouraged you to cultivate that dream you've been playing with. Or maybe you've just been in search of a dream and you need a little joy in your life. And I hope that Just a Point of View, this podcast episode, has brought you a little joy as I'm chasing happiness fiercely. And I'm Denise Reed, and I'll be right here next week on Thursday, chasing happiness fiercely and cheering you on while you grow something wonderful in your own life. I hope that if this was worthy, that you'll like and subscribe, or maybe even share it with somebody that has been looking for some inspirational moments, and that it might help them fan the flame or pass that ball off to create their next great idea. I hope that you'll check out the show notes as I'm sharing some of the tools that have lent to this creative moment of Just a Point of View. What seed are you planting this season in your life? And I hope that you'll share that in the comments. So until then, keep listening, keep planting, and most of all, keep blooming where you're planting. And chase happiness fiercely. Thanks for hanging out with me. Talk to you later. Bye.